Hello friends, welcome or welcome back to the channel. My name is Ife, and in this video I'm going to be talking about my personal experience when I joined an MLM company and why you most definitely must not. I'm going to be telling you the lessons I learned, which has made me into a strong anti-MLM person. And so if this sounds like something that you are interested in, stay tuned. So hello again. Before we begin or we go into the details of the video, I just want to clear a few things. So this video is not meant to bash anybody, especially the friend who introduced me to the company. I know that whatever that they treated me or I was treated is just strategies that are learned in the company, or that is how these MLM strategies are given out, that people should treat other people like that. And also don't be too alarmed. It's not like I was treated really bad, but whatever I'm going to say is not to necessarily bash that person. I know it's a business module of these MLM companies, and so that is actually what I'm talking against, not necessarily these friends that I knew of. Also, for such as legal reasons, and primarily because I don't even think I should even mention the company's name because they're not worth it, in my opinion. So I'm not going to be mentioning any specific names. I'm going to be giving a lot of pseudonyms, and I just wanted that cleared. Also, for those who don't know, MLM stands for multi-level marketing, and it's just a business that primarily depends on recruiting people under them to sort of push them up. So if you have heard of uplines and downlines, it's mostly this type of things. And some people even say that it's a pyramid scheme, but pyramid schemes are actually illegal things. And so people or companies who say they are MLM companies always try to say that they are not a pyramid scheme. But in my opinion, they are like sort of, I don't know, legal pyramid scheme, because if you really look at it, you're here to go higher to the next level. You need people underneath you to push you, and then people underneath those people also to push them. So in simple terms, that's what an MLM stands for, just in case you didn't know. All right, let's get into the lessons now. So the first lesson that I learned was that MLM agents tell people half-truths or blatant lies just to get them into the company. So this was around the year, I think this happened around 2017, 2018. I'm not too sure of the year, but it was around that time. And a really good friend of mine, now this person I had known for over a decade, came to me and then told me that there was this business opportunity that they wanted to talk to me about. So they invited me over for one of their meetings. If you have ever been part of an MLM, or if you know about these MLM things, then you know, go for meetings where they talk about the company, what it does, and then the business part of it. So I went to such a meeting. This company had some sort of supplement. So that's the first thing they talked about. And honestly, that's what hooked me, because if you don't know, I am a health person, I work in health. And so when they talked about it and the hormone that the thing contains, the supplement contained, and how good it was, I really liked it. And then they talked about the business part. Again, if you have been to these meetings, you know how very hype they make things, as if don't join, you are losing out on an opportunity. That part didn't really get to me. It was just my friend, the way this person talked about it. That's actually what got me interested. Told them, my friend, that I liked the supplement and what it did, but then it's an MLM, so this person was trying to recruit me. So they talked more about the business with me. Oh, you can do it part-time. It will still gel with work. I was working as a nurse in one of the teaching hospitals in Ghana, and listening to the business, it made it sound as if I'm going to be working part-time, I'm going to be making a lot of money. Now, mind you that I was an NSS personnel. In Ghana, when you finish school or when you finish college, you have to do an internship, a year's internship, and you become a national service personnel. Drop down in the comments section below what such people, or when you're doing that service, what it's called at your place. But in Ghana, it's called national service personnel. So I was one of that, and I was paid peanuts, very small amount of money. So when my friend, who, for just the sake of this video, I'm just going to be calling UF, which means upline friend. So when UF told me that I'm going to have more money, I just thought about my NSS salary and I was like, oh my gosh, to work part-time and then to make this much money, wow, that's going to be a lot, or that's going to be really work in my favor. So agreed. So I wasn't told that I would have to pay anything after the registration fee. So I was only told to pay a one-time registration fee and then I'll get the welcome pack and everything, and that was it. Honestly, that is what UF told me, that oh, you just have to pay this amount of money, you get a welcome pack which contains your supplements, I think about 4 or 5 bottles, I don't remember, but that was all I was told. Later I learned that it wasn't. So one of the first lessons is that blatant lies or half-truths are what you are told. So 2 is that MLMs will waste your precious time. When I joined the company, I was told it's part-time, like what I told you in my first lesson, that it was part-time. After I joined, it got to a point where this upline friend, UF, would call me and say, why didn't you come to this meeting? Why didn't you come for that meeting? I'm sorry, I'm work full-time as a nurse. And I'll be like, okay, my shift, because of my shift, I couldn't come. Well, you have to make time to come, and if you don't do that, how are you going to learn about the business so that you can grow in it? So because of that, and this was not like one-time thing, it was constant pressure. It got to a point where sometimes I would check my shift and then I would have to exchange the shift with somebody else just to be able to make time to go for the meetings. So I had to go for these meetings, which happen almost every weekend. During the week, sometimes there will be calls, like video. That time there was no Zoom, but there was WhatsApp and video calls. And the first time I joined, I thought it was something that would last for like, I don't know, maybe 30 minutes or something. It lasted for over 2 hours. And I remember this because at that time, I was an NSS person. I didn't really have a lot of money, and so my data that I bought in Ghana, we do have data plans, but then you can also buy data in like little installments, and that's what I could afford, and so that's what I did. I remember that data got finished. I bought another one, it got finished. I had my UF called me and they said, well, why are you not on the meeting? And I said, well, because my data is done and I don't have any more money to get more. The person is like, no. And so they bought me more data. And when I tell you that data, that data also finished. And in my mind, I was like, what are we talking about? So much that it has to last for over 30 minutes. Like, what is it? I didn't even join anymore. After the third call hung up, I didn't even join anymore because at this point, I was just really fed up with it. So video calls, going for weekend meetings. Sometimes during the week, there were also other meetings that my UF used to call grinding or something, grinding meetings or something, and it's like you have to come. There were times when I would close from work, from let's say a morning shift. If you have worked in Ghana as a nurse, you know what I'm talking about. You can go for a morning shift or an afternoon shift. Sometimes I would close from a morning shift, sometimes even an afternoon shift when I had work the next day. But because of the pressure that, oh, you have to come for this meeting, I'll go there so tired, and then these meetings will last into the night, around 11 a.m. or sometimes midnight, and we are now coming back home. It was just so tedious. And the next morning, I'm going to work in the hospital. It was so tedious. And when I tried to talk about it, told UF that this is not something I'm really enjoying. It's just taking my time. I thought it was going to be part-time. Their response was that if I am working full-time for something that wasn't giving me a lot of money, my work at the hospital, it wasn't giving me a lot of money, and this is something that was going to be paying me a huge amount of money if I keep at it, then why am I complaining? Basically, they didn't necessarily say like why complain about it. They said, well, they're working full-time in the hospital and this is the amount of money they're paying. This is going to pay you more, so like talking about, you just have to keep grinding. And again, if you know MLMs, they tell you that you are the CEO of your business. So and UF will tell me, your business is CEO. Do you know what it takes to be a CEO? All these, should I call it brain tricks, or I don't know, these things, these ideas they put in your head that this is all about you, and if you give it your time, it's going to pay off at the end of the day. So there's light at the end of the tunnel sort of situation. Even though you can't take it, that's the ideology that's pushed. So a lot of time wasting went on that I wasn't told it would be. I thought it was part-time. I thought it would just sink into my life, my regular routine. It would just push it in, or it would just be part of it. But it was now just taking my time more than my regular routine. So that's something you should look out for. That's something you should note, that MLMs will waste your time. And I say the time was wasted because nothing came out of it. You see that light at the end of the tunnel ideology? There was no light. In fact, there wasn't even any tunnel. They had just created their own tunnel to push you in just so that you will stay with the company. But see, nothing came out of it. Absolutely nothing came out of it. So just take note of that. The third point is that MLMs waste your money. Now remember that I told you that I was an NSS personnel, so I was paid very small amount of money. After I had signed up, the following month, UF calls me and says that I need to pay a PV, or I need to have a PV. So a PV stands for personal volume. And apparently within the company, and this happens in almost all MLM companies, at least the ones that I know of, where every month you have to pay for something called a personal volume, or you have to pay something that will give you like a volume. So that's it, you're paying to stay within the company every single month. And before I signed up, I was not told that I'll be paying something every single month, because I won't be able to afford it. And it wasn't something, money wasn't something small. The money was almost my whole national service salary. If I was told that before I signed up, I would have most definitely not signed up, but I wasn't told. So when UF told me this, I asked, how am I going to get this money? I don't know how to get this money. And what I was told was that, oh, when you get your personal volume, or when you get the product, because after you pay that money, you're going to get some product, they're going to give you some product, then I should sell it, and after I sell them, I'll be able to have the money to come and pay the following month's personal volume. So it was as if, oh, this month, if you have money, let's just invest in it, and then the following month, since you have the product for this month, you can pay, you can sell the product, and then the following month you can use to pay for your personal volume. Now that sounds good, right? Wrong. The problem with this plan was that the products that were being sold were very expensive, at least for the average person who lived where I lived. It wasn't money that you can easily just throw out like that to just buy a product or a supplement for you. And then when I told UF about this, they told me that since I worked in a hospital, I could even talk to my patients and their relatives. And this is what was said. Can you imagine how unethical that is? Can you imagine being a patient in that vulnerable state, patients and their relatives in that vulnerable state, and then I'm selling something to them? And this is a supplement. That's what it said, that, oh, it's a supplement, it's going to help. So it's not even as if whatever disease you have, the thing is going to cure it. And even if that is so, how unethical is that? And when they said it to me, I was really, in my mind, I'm like, oh, just forgive this person, because I think they don't understand the ethics of the job I do. Like even your PIN can, if you are found out, my PIN could be at risk, right? So let's chalk it to the fact that they didn't understand what they were saying. And so I found other ways, and I say this with so much gladness in my heart, that I never sold any of those products to any patients, because how are you even going to start a conversation with a patient relative? Can you imagine that? Imagine if my ward in charge or my sister in charge was told, oh, this nurse of yours said that this supplement is good for. Can you imagine that? So I didn't even mind what UF said. I just looked for people who I just thought that maybe friends, mostly it was and family, friends and other friends. And for that first month, I was able to get people to buy, so I was able to get a PV. But for the subsequent months, it just became hard. And so what happens? I was putting in my money every time. It got to a point where all the products would be with me, and then the little money I've saved from my NSS salary was what I would use to pay for that PV, and it was getting to me. And that's point 3. Point 4, MLMs destroy relationships. So this is me who is still forging ahead, right? I am still within the MLM game in my mind. Oh, it's going to make sense later, it's going to make sense. And then bam, I'm able to sign up somebody. So I signed this friend. This person was a really, really good friend of mine. And if I was to see him again today, I would really like to apologize because I regret signing them up. I really regret it. But it gets better. Just stay with me. So when I signed this person up, I remember that after I had told him about the opportunity, they also came for a business meeting. All the things that I went through, and then they brought the money. I remember that night, this guy was just counting out money, signed. They gave him the welcome pack, everything. And I was even told that I'm going to get a percentage from signing up. I never got it. But that's neither here. I don't even care about that. But this guy signed up. After they signed up, UF told me that just like the pressure he was putting on me, oh, come for meetings, do this, do that. I was told to also do that to my downline and then also look for other people to sign up because in MLM, it's a pyramid scheme, really. That is how it operates. You need uplines and downlines. So I had now gotten one person and I needed one more person to push to the next level. And when I had signed that person up, I was just so happy with myself. I just felt like, oh, now I can relax. No, there was even more pressure from UF for me to sign up another person and for the person that I had just signed up to also get another person, right? Classic MLM strategy. So this is me putting pressure on this friend that I had signed up, and the guy just snapped. He got to a point he wasn't taking my calls, he wasn't like contact. UF tried to call him also, nothing. UF's upline tried to call my friend who I just signed up also, nothing. And it got to a point where it just realized that this guy had come to pay all. And for me, for the life of me, I couldn't fathom that. How is it that you come and pay all this, because it was a big amount of money? How do you come and pay for all this and then you don't, for me, like, didn't get anything out of it? I just couldn't understand why he would just waste money like that. But in hindsight, I think he realized what he had really got himself into and he just cut his losses and he just left. That was it. But at that time, I didn't understand. I just felt like, oh, you have to get something out of it. And so this is me trying to call. I called, I texted. What didn't I do? Nothing. This guy did not even, no response at all. So UF comes to me one day and he says, listen, this person you signed up is not really doing anything, is not really making any progress. Try and get another person. Let's go. So it was like, we're just moving on from this person. And remember that the person that I signed up was my friend, or is my friend, at least at that time, he was my friend. And I just didn't feel so good bringing somebody into something and then just moving on from them. It just made me feel some kind of way. But I was told that yes, that's what I have to do, and that if the person doesn't want to sign up, if the person doesn't want to be serious about the business, I should just cut them off and just move on. And that was quite harsh. But I remember that UF wasn't the only person he had tried to sign. He had tried to sign up other people. And after I had come in and those other people who were also friends of ours, they were mutual friends, they didn't come in. I remember very well that we were sitting one time at a meeting and then UF was talking about how these people who didn't accept to be signed up, one day when we make it, when we like it starts to really make sense, going to regret it. And even though I didn't really say anything for that, I sort of agreed. I was like, yes, I agreed to everything they were saying. So that really, and I realized that the relationship with those mutual friends, it became a bit strained, especially UF and those other mutual friends who didn't sign up. Their relationship became a bit strained, but I didn't really give thought to it. I was like, maybe, I don't know. I just didn't give thought to it. But when UF told me that I should just cut off this person, this friend that I had signed up because they were not making any real progress, then I understood what had happened with the other mutual friends. So that was what was happening. You are told to come and sign up for an MLM by somebody and you don't, and that person is your friend, chances are that they will no longer be your friends. What kind of business model is this that encourages you to cut off relationships no matter how long you've had them, and no matter, of course, friendships are not just about maybe the length of it, but even how you feel about the person, right? It's like all your feelings, just throw them out, and how you feel about, just throw them out and just go on with your life as if that person was never really part of your life. So just know that MLMs will do that to you. They destroy relationships and they will encourage you to not continue to be friends with someone just because they did not agree to come and join that business. Does it make sense? Point 5 is that just know that MLMs are built on the backs of loved ones and friends. within the business, you are told that if you have a full-time jobs, they'll tell you that this business is more advantageous than that full-time job, and that with that other job you are building somebody's dreams. But then with the MLM, the company you are part of, the MLM company you are part of, you are actually building your own dreams, because all the money is going to come to you, yada yada. Now, for all intents and purposes, that full-time job that you're doing, it does not require you to bring in a loved one or a family member or a friend for you to get paid. It doesn't do that. You go to your full-time job, at the end of the month you get paid, isn't it? Great. So that is one thing that they don't talk about, right? They don't talk about that. Also, with your full-time job, if you are building somebody's dreams, what about the MLM? Really, are you not building the owners of the MLM's dream? Because if there's an upline and a downline, when you bring somebody, then you push one person up, and then you have to bring somebody, another person to push. So it's even worse, in my opinion, it's even worse than when you work like a corporate or a full job, in that full-time job does not need you to build your dreams on the backs of your loved ones and friends, does it? No. But that is primarily what MLM business models are built on. It is a pyramid that you need to recruit people for you to get ahead in the company. What nonsense, really. So if you are somebody who think about such a model, and then you are being told in this business that, oh, you are building your dream, but then your dream is, or your dreams are really dependent on you standing on other people's backs to build up this dream, then I don't think that is something that you should really be part of, or at least it's not something that I will really encourage you to be part of. So these are the 5 lessons that I learned. When I realized all of these lessons, when I realized, and even more, I'm not going to bore you with the details, but these are the main things that I realized. I decided that I am not going to be doing this anymore. I am going to leave this company. Happy that I left. It took a lot of weight out of me. I didn't stay there for long, to be fair. I didn't stay there for long. I don't even think I was there for up to 6 months. I don't know. And somebody might say, oh, because you weren't there for so long, that's why you didn't get anything from it. The way I was feeling, the way it was sucking up the life out of me, it wasn't something that I could have stayed there for any length of time. When I was done, I was really done. And when I left, I felt free. I felt so good. So to conclude, I hope these lessons that I've learned these lessons that I've listed have explained to you why I am anti-MLM for life. And also I hope that it has been able to at least convince you, or made you, at least it will make you think about it if you ever want to join an MLM. That's all I have for this video. Please don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel if you are yet to subscribe, and make sure that you put on your post notifications so that whenever I upload a new video, you'll be one of the first to be informed. Please drop down in the comment section below if you've ever been part of an MLM and some of the lessons you also learned from it, and if there are anything in the lessons that I said that resonated with you. Friends, thank you so much, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye.